Okay, there's also different materials of finger picks. You can see the ones that look very yellowish, that they are brass picks, and it's basically copper and zinc, a mixture like 38% zinc, and they tend to sound a little warmer, a little softer, because they're just a softer material, and then you get the material that looks a little bit more like a countertop, which is like, really stainless steel picks. And they're very hard. They hardly ever wear, and I've seen people play them for 20 years and they don't show any markings on them. They're like stainless steel frets. They really work really well. But the disadvantage of these picks is if you're not really disciplined, they can have a little bit more pick noise because they're so hard. And also, I don't prefer to play with very hard picks because when you look at the roundness where your finger is in, if that's stainless steel, that's very, very rigid. And in order to keep the finger pick on the finger, I needed to give and take a little bit because my fingers are not always the same. When it's cold, they shrink a little, and the stainless steel pick tends to fall off. And if it's warm, they swell up, and the stainless steel finger pick doesn't give any, and it feels very uncomfortable and tight. So I want a finger pick that's soft enough to just give in, to my finger. Because, for instance, I played national finger picks. They're very fine. And then there's finger picks they're called Dunlop, for instance. They have a different pedal. On the side, they are wider, and so they're more rigid. So even if you have the same thickness of material, which is an 025, what this national would be. They'd have only one gauge in national. And they would have an 025, but in Dunlop, if you would get an 025, it still feels a lot more rigid because the fit is different. So a lot of professionals play an 0225 in order to play something that sounds very much like the national picks. Like Scott Vestal would do that, and a lot of other people. And the picks don't fall off, they feel comfortable, they give and take with your fingers. And that's really the comfortable issue is also very important. So I hope that was helpful.